choose a home that makes life more fulfilling by bringing you closer to everything that matters the most. Arezzo Place Pasig. Live fulfilled.
Finma Properties, making room to build your future.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Enwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasine, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasine.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair young and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all.
Zero oil.
employers more ways to extend a helping hand. The financial programs we design with our business partners focus on creating a safety net for devoted employees. We believe secure and happy employees are essential to a successful business.
Nandito ako nung nagpa-practice mag-bike ang anak ko.
Nandito ako nung nag-birthday si Mommy.
Dito ako nag-celebrate ng wedding anniversary namin.
Distance will always be a problem. So choose a home that makes life more fulfilling by bringing you closer to everything that matters the most. Arezzo Place Pasig. Live fulfilled.
Finma Properties, making room to build your future.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair young and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all.
Zero oil.
give employers more ways to extend a helping hand. The financial programs we design with our business partners focus on creating a safety net for devoted employees. We believe secure and happy employees are essential to a successful business.
Nandito ako nung nagpa-practice magbike ng anak ko.
Nandito ako nung nag-birthday si Mommy.
Dito ako nag-celebrate ng wedding anniversary namin.
Distance will always be a problem. So choose a home that makes life more fulfilling by bringing you closer to everything that matters the most. Arezzo Place Pasig. Live fulfilled.
Finma Properties, making room to build your future.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to our Zoom participants. A pleasant afternoon as well to our FB, YouTube, and LinkedIn viewers today. Don't forget to share and like our live stream. Okay, so welcome to another e-learning session brought to you by Ariva Academy. Our topic today is selling under fire, secrets of proactive selling in a crisis. My name is Irish Malonda Samson, your host, and let us now welcome our moderator, Mr. Howell Mabalot. Hi, Sir Howell.
Hi, Miss Irish. Am I getting across clearly? 111?
Here, sir. 111. You look good on your new look.
Go ahead. I changed my hair.
So, Sir Howell, let's start.
So you look great as well, as
Thank
always.
you, as always, sir. Thank you for appreciating my beauty every day.
Of course.
Okay, Sir Howell, join me in welcoming our participants who are watching overseas. We are from Selangor, Malaysia, Petaling Jaya, Malaysia, St. Paul's Bay, Malta, Mosta, Malta, Lalitpur, Nepal, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Ra, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Mijas, Costa, Spain, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Fujairah, United Arab Emirates, Florida, and LA, United States. Thank you for joining us today. And in order for us to have a smooth flow of our e-learning session, here are the following reminders and house rules. Please type in hi who are the first-time viewers of our webinar. Please type in hi in the chat box now. So let's wait for them. Let's all welcome them. August, Borrego, Marian, hello, welcome to our e-learning session. Kyla, Lynette, okay, we have a lot of new viewers today. Marilyn, hello ma'am, welcome to our e-learning session. Celerina Puraganan, okay. Hello, Rodablas Nicolas, of course, Sir Arnold Viñas. Hello, sir. So let's do a sound check. You will be needing a good quality headset. Please use the following codes. Type in now 111 to show if you can hear me. You can hear us loud and clear and audible. Thank you, Kyla, Arnold, Rio, Giselle, 111, Ronaline, Marilyn, Regina Baclig, 111, Joey Oliveros, okay, Barwin, Vince, thank you, 111, 222 means you cannot hear us. No sound at all. 2121 means our sound is breaking up or there's a lag, and question mark if you don't understand anything. So far, 111, Sir Howell, we are all ready and clear. Okay,
We are.
moving on. We will be having a 2 to 3 minute break after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to our question and answer portion. For Q&A guidelines, participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid interruptions. Questions will be entertained after each topic of the session. For questions and clarifications during the provided time after each topic, please click the raise hand button for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. This is intended for our Zoom participants. Yes, you can ask your questions live later at the Q&A portion. Type in your questions at the Q&A box, again at the Q&A box, not in the chat box. One question at a time will be entertained. For comments and feedback, please scan this QR code. This will be directed to our feedback form. Please send us your comments, suggestions in order for us to improve our future e-learning sessions. And now to discuss selling under fire, secrets of proactive selling in a crisis. Mr. Howell Mabalot, please introduce our speaker from United States.
Wow, thank you, Miss Irish Malonda Samson, for the honor to introduce our speaker from the United States. I wonder what
Florida,
time it is right now. So Florida. So, wow, it's very early in the morning. Okay, today's speaker has led his own organizations through uncharted turbulence in the past and in a variety of situations and country markets, including selling during a reign of terror from the IRA in London, the post-9/11 anthrax scare in the Central Europe, demolished infrastructure after bombing campaigns in Beirut. Wow. These events were external and had an immediate impact on the mindset of the customers, the team members, and the leaders. Today, we will share the winning takeaways from these experiences from him, who acted as CEO of his teams across the globe. Everyone, let us put our hands together for Mr. MJ Tolan. Mr. MJ, hi, sir.
Good morning. It's 3 a.m., by the way, Howell.
3 a.m. in Florida. Wow, thank you for your sacrifices, sir.
It's our honor.
And reading the introduction, wow, I was amazed by how you were able to get through that and manage to sell at the same time.
Well, you know, as I wrote the script for that, I kind of realized that I must be the master of disaster because I've had situations like that happen all around the world.
That could be your new title, sir.
There you go.
MJ. Shall we be calling you Sir Michael or Sir MJ?
MJ is perfect.
Okay, Sir MJ. And we're excited to hear from you because here in the Philippines, we felt like if we try to sell today, it would seem like we are more focused on taking than giving, which is why it's very interesting, and I believe we will learn how to properly sell to people in times of crisis. And we thank you for the honor, Sir MJ, Coach MJ.
Sure. Well, you know, let me start by saying thank you for the opportunity. I don't have all the answers. I can only give you my own personal experience and how we and my teams were able to navigate through those turbulent times. So let me start out by saying that selling anything is not the easiest profession in the world. If anyone's in, does anybody have, let's see, this participants chat box? Can I go in there and just see how many people are currently or right before not the COVID COVID-19 issue, how many people were in direct sales? If you were in direct sales, say sales.
Sales.
Type in
Chat,
your box.
At the chat box, please type in sales if you are in sales. They are still in sales, sir. Kyla, Lulu, Claire, Marianne, Arnold, August. I think.
Well, this thing is jumping like a ticker tape.
It is.
All right. So welcome to one of the most challenging professions in the world. When there's no disaster, when there is no crisis, it's still a very tough job. And the 90% of the people who get into sales get out very quickly because they can't handle the resistance of the market, the resistance of the mindset. They cannot cope with the negativity of being rejected and the feeling of being rejected. So for that reason, it's a tough job no matter what the climate is, no matter what the weather is, no matter what the situation is. And I think for me to address this topic, which is very, very important if you're from a company's perspective, a company has to feed its bottom line. And it will feed its bottom line through generating revenue, whether it sells refrigerators or whether it sells ice cream or whether it sells radios, whether it sells insurance, whether they sell real estate. So I've seen companies tank in situations like this, and I've seen companies do what I'm going to suggest, and worst case scenario, stay alive. And that's really what we have to do. And I take your point, Howell, that if we sell in a climate like this, if you're doing it the wrong way or you're doing it the way you were doing it before, then you could be construed as somebody who's taking advantage of the situation, and you don't want to do that ever. So I think what I like to share is the juxtaposition is if you don't change your strategy, and if your strategy doesn't have empathy with your market, and the empathy that you have for your market has to align with maybe a new way to reframe your value proposition. And if that lines up, then you're going to have a more zest driven sales activity than you would be if you're just doing the same thing and kind of beating your head up against the wall. So
that's fantastic, Sir MJ. Coach MJ, we're excited for the first slide. And this will be an hour and a half. It will be done before you know it in Florida.
Yeah, that's what they said. Let's see. I'm going to get my tech guy. My tech guy, I guess, is going to move me forward here on the.
So what you can do now, is, Sir Michael or
Yes.
Coach MJ, is to click the share screen at this moment.
Gotcha.
And
Yes, sir.
I'll give you, sir, a feedback if you already are seeing your PowerPoint presentation. There. And now you can. Wonderful.
Now I don't see you guys. Can I go back like this? No.
What you can do is minimize the screen, but you have to first share the screen, sir.
Gotcha. So first we're gonna. Can you see the screen now?
We're just seeing your copy of the presentation, sir. You can click share screen now, sir.
Our screen sharing.
Or you can do the full screen sharing, sir, because you're using Mac. It's okay if you don't see us. What's important is we see you, sir.
Uh-huh.
So just click the slideshow.
How's that?
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Are we good? Okay.
Do you,
so I think
can you still see us?
Before I begin, because I can't see you, this is the frustrating part about this whole.
I understand. I share your sentiments, sir.
You do, huh? All right. So listen, before we even get into this, I'd just like to thank everyone who signed up for this. I hope to give you some good takeaways for this. I hope I can give you something that you can put into practice immediately, no matter what you're doing. And whether you're an entrepreneur who's thinking about raising money for a startup, whether you're a sales executive who has responsibility to generate so many sales per day, per week, per month, whether you're a CEO who has to motivate your sales directors and managers and figure out where your revenue is going to come from, know this: one of the largest, most successful companies in the Philippines. And I can tell you for sure, I'm an eyewitness. When they opened up in Dubai, the line to get to the product took about 3 hours and people were waiting in line. It's called Jollibee's.
Yes. That was in my mind, yeah.
So imagine their sales revenue, how it tanked. After over 2.5 months, their revenues went down 60-70%.
Same here in the Philippines, sir.
So we're not going to come up today and talk about how we're going to, in 1 hour, which is what we have, to be able to address the magic formula. But what we can talk about is the magic mindset to get through the formula. How's that? Right?
That would be exciting.
One of the things I'm going to share with all the participants today is we're going to ask you, only if you like, we're starting a new podcast called MJ on the Air. You can look it up, mjontheair.com. Feel free to go on there. That's how you can follow me. And we're doing this program called Mission Impossible, which is my core brand, which we talk about impossible situations, impossible people who've overcome amazing adversity. So Mission Impossible is really the topic. We're doing 10 episodes this summer. And if you sign up, you'll be able to have those episodes for free. Not only that, but we'll be giving away today, for those people who sign up, a copy of our book, Success in 47 Minutes.
Wow.
It doesn't take an hour, only 47 minutes. So sign up on MJ on the Air and get that. I'm sorry, I just had to do a little commercial for our sponsors.
It's okay. We want free stuff.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So moving into this, we're going to talk about selling in the crisis. So I guess, unfortunately, COVID is here right now, and it's still, with us, but it will pass. And when it does, we'll have some lessons from this. Most of us will want to get back to normal. Most of us have this amazing ability to forget very quickly, and we move on. In the Philippines, you've done this magnificently, courageously, for years and years and years, from one disaster to the next. God bless all the people who lost family members in Tacloban and so many other disasters, and yet you move forward and you get through it. You get through a crisis. A crisis will always come, and so will change. And no one likes either one. They don't like change, and they don't like crisis. So I think that what I'd like to do now, before we even get going, is talk about how do we manage ourselves? How do we manage our business? How can we sell a product in a crisis? And I think the first thing we need to do is identify what the problem is. Now, you could say, well, it's COVID-19. Yep. Okay. And the people are dying in the hospital. Yep. And it's a virus, and we don't know if it comes from a bat or a rat. Okay. But what's really the problem? Why aren't people buying? Why are we afraid? Why are we afraid to approach them for sales, as you said, Mr. Howell? And maybe the answer is because there's a psychological barrier that's happening. And that barrier, I'm going to talk about that now. You mentioned in the introduction that I had a couple of experiences. One of, I don't know if do you have any attendees from Spain here? Do I have a Helen Smith in the audience? If I do, she might know that during a London startup, we were tasked with the problem of being able to do promotions all over the city of London. And the way that we did that is we had outdoor promoters in the summertime, and they were very jovial, and they were taking surveys, and some of the most expensive stores in the world. One of them was Harrods. And one fine day, this fantastic director that we had, Helen Smith, had a team of people outside of Harrods, and suddenly, unfortunately, the IRA had this bombing campaign. They wanted to, get the British Crown to get on their knees. They blew up Harrods, and her team came back to the office. Thank God, no one was hurt. They came back with glass in their hair. I mean, where the windows had shattered. People did die in that event, and that's not really the story. The story is how she motivated half of those people to come back to work the next day.
Wow.
Why? Because we had a business mandate. Not that we felt sorry about Harrods, but frankly, London is a big town. England's a big country. We had a mission, and we were mandated to do that. So we had to get through that. And one of the biggest problems we had with that whole campaign, they went on for over 3 months. Every single day we walked down the road and we saw a trash can, we were afraid because that's where they used to hide their bombs, in trash cans. So our clients were afraid to go out on the road and walk to arrive to our offices. People were afraid to come to an interview because they might walk near a trash can. It was just horrible. And how could we possibly get through it? So I think that situation, and then our situation in Beirut, where we had threats from the Syrian border, threats from the Israeli border. Finally, Israeli jets came in, started blowing up bridges. Just a horrible 47-day war. And there we were in the midst of it, our head office, with salespeople and marketing people running that operation. One that we had done before that is we had done something called the failure analysis technique. And that's basically if you're thinking about going somewhere, let's say on a picnic, and you say, okay, what could go wrong? I could have a flat tire. So do we have a spare? The food could go bad. Okay, do we have a backup? So it was basically thinking like that. And in the Beirut situation, we kind of thought that we were in a volatile area for sure. We're not rocket scientists to figure that out. But we did know that we had some countries that were nearby. And so we decided that in case something does happen, we might have a backup satellite office over to Cyprus or some other country like that. A crisis will give you the opportunity to sit back. It will give you the opportunity to sit back and go, what can I learn from this? How can I serve my clients through this? How can I repackage or remarket or improve my product offering so that it will serve my clients in this particular time? And I think that those are the things that we have to think about doing. And also, asking somebody to buy is not a bad thing. And some salespeople are afraid of doing that. And if you don't do that, you're never going to be able to get your job done. So we have to be able to try to engage as much as we can the people that we have in our marketplace. Now, we might engage them in a different way. Tonight, it's 3 a.m. and I'm engaging people from all the way across the world. I love being out on an event, a live event, and I love dealing with people, speaking to people, and looking in their eyes and seeing their smiles. But we're in a different world now, and we're in the Earth 2.0. We're in work 2.0. From work 2.0, we're learning that this wonderful thing called internet could have some positive impact. Ariva has done a marvelous job at creating almost a university online of some of the best speakers who I take my hat off to. Some of them I know and respect. Here's a shout out to Scott Freeman, by the way, a friend of mine.
Wow.
And I think, this is a great opportunity for us to learn. And so I'm going to just throw this out that if we look as business people, if we look at it, we do a SWOT analysis right now. We'll look at the strengths that we have, look at the weaknesses that the situation has caused, look at what are the possible opportunities that we might see from that, and what are the threats, and do a SWOT analysis on your business and then on yourself. Those are the suggestions that I would make the most out of this, because if you're not willing to accept the fact that change happens like it or not. Like it or not. Change will happen without your permission. So you have two choices. You can embrace it like a willow tree, go with the flow, or you can try to resist it like a palm tree on a Boracay beach in the middle of a typhoon. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
So I think that's really what our takeaway was from those issues. But when I say look, ask what the problem is, you need to really drill deeper. Was the problem a bomb? No, it was problematic. Don't get me wrong. Is the problem a virus? No, it is, because people are dying. But what's the real problem? The real problem in a sales psychology, in a sales environment, is that these changes, these negative changes in our normal day living have caused disruption to the point where people are just scared. And when people are scared, when they're fearful, nothing you're going to do is going to sell them anything. They don't want to know about it. They're in a fight or flight mode, and anything you try to push to them. And I can remember being involved in a consultancy, helping a U.S. company, probably 2 weeks on into this COVID. And I remember how some of the salespeople were reaching out to clients, and clients are saying, "Are you kidding me? You're calling me now? Are you talking to me now? You know, all this, the world is coming to an end." And that's fear. Yes. That's what drives people into this negative state. Now, the antidote to fear, of course, is confidence. But how can you give someone confidence when the earth is moving, when the cars are falling into the hole? Very, very difficult. Which is why I said before, you have to be prepared to be more empathetic to your audience, to really understand how they feel. And then take a second look at your product. Is there a way where we can position our product where it really does help this particular person or this company in this time of crisis? Is there a benefit for them that I haven't seen yet? And that's a good brainstorming thing to do with your team. I highly suggest you do it. But drilling deeper is what I'm asking you to do. Drilling deeper is to find out what the real problem is. Okay, so nobody wants to buy. How are we selling? Well, we're selling face-to-face. Well, you can't do that right now, possibly. One masked man says to another masked man, "Who is that masked man?" So everybody has this social distancing thing that they need to respect. And we must, until we know for sure that we have a solution, possibly a vaccine, whatever that solution is. But until then, maybe the ways that we were selling a few weeks ago, a few months ago, might need to be altered. And maybe, instead of knocking on someone's door or visiting them in their office or having them come and talk to you or being in a sales presentation, or maybe your sales channels are different. Maybe you have a business where you have retailers who you distribute your products to. But still, at the end of the day, you might have to adjust your strategy. Adjusting your strategy, and I'd like to also bring into your mind a seesaw. You know the seesaw where kids play in the schoolyard? A seesaw will balance itself when both sides are almost the same weight. And what I'm going to say with this is that there's no reason to wait on when you can balance your value proposition with your client. So that's very, very important. I think otherwise, if one side is lopsided, you're just wasting your time and digging in. So drill deeper, find out what the real problem is. I'm saying in particular now, the problem is fear of the unknown. And from fear of the unknown, we go into fight and flight mode. We go into hiding. And then hiding when we are locked indoors, then we find the real monster. I found the monster in my apartment. Howell, do you have a monster
in your apartment?
Yes, I have a monster. For the first 3 or 4 weeks, the monster was calling me at 2:00 in the morning. 7 o'clock in the day. It's 10 o'clock in the afternoon, all day long. The Monster called. The Monster is a white box. It has a handle on top and a handle on the bottom, and we call it a refrigerator. Yes, sir.
You call it a monster, I call it a friend.
Yeah. Well, the problem was we were friendly when we first got along, when we first started dating. Yeah. I realized it was a trap. So, yeah. People were thinking about, well, gosh, what's going to happen? I mean, even people went into the end of the world mode. Now, when you have a client who is thinking this way, there's nothing you can do to save him that particular moment. That's not the moment to sell him. That doesn't mean he can't be sold, but to try to sell him when he's in that mode, waste of time. And the stock market's thing. Here's what we got.
Yeah.
Guys, gals, during COVID, we saw stock markets crash. We saw aliens. What is the Air Force released?
The
footage of UFOs.
Old footage.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, but that didn't break the bank. So we had aliens. We had oil that went to zero, and then it was floating around the sea below zero, and they didn't know what to do. I mean, really, the news just couldn't get any more dramatic. And if you're in a sales situation, oh my gosh, yeah. But here's what I do know. I do know that if you're really involved in sales as a profession, you know that sales is a process and that you have to ask for the order in a particular way when your value proposition is put across properly, when you've discovered a real need that your clients might have. And there's a process. And if you follow your process, even if possibly your process might need to be adjusted, as we had to do in London a bit and in Beirut a bit, but at the end of the day, if you're following your process and you're consistent and your attitude is right and you've adjusted your empathy to your clients, you will get results for sure. That's for sure, no matter what. So the problem is that most people will give up because they go, oh, how can I? How can I go ask Mr. So-and-so to buy what product? Well, guys, if you're not selling a product that you really believe in, stop selling it. That's number one. But if you have a product that you really believe in and you really believe it's going to give someone a benefit, you'll find a way. The problem is that you might not be as persistent right now because you yourself are in that mindset. And you yourself are fearful. So if you're fearful and you talk to another fearful person, what do you think is going to happen? Wake me up when you figure it out. So I'm telling you right now that getting through any situation is mindset. And that's the key to this whole thing. I've heard a lot of your speakers talk about mindset. And you know what? I'm glad. Because you can't talk about it enough. And no matter how great some of our sales organizations have been across the world, in country after country after country, they were only as good as they were yesterday. They had to get up every day, every new day, and perform. They had to get up every new day and bring in that positivity. They had to bring in that aura of positivity. They could go out and accomplish their goals. And if they weren't focused, if they weren't centered, they were never going to stand a chance. So selling is not for the weak at heart. It's a profession. It's the highest paid profession in the world. I know salespeople who have, made millions. And I think that, and who started, in a very modest sales position. So it is a profession for ambitious people. Yes. It is a profession for people who want to continue to learn and to grow. I've been a quintessential lifetime learner. I'm still learning. I'm still thrilled when I do. I love sharing what I've learned with other people, but I'm not a guru. I'm not the end of all things, and I certainly don't have all the answers. But I do have a lot of good questions. And I think that if you're in sales, if you know how to ask the right questions, you can pretty much have a good chance of earning the right, because you're a good listener and because you can build rapport with your clients and because you can build eventual trust with your clients. Then if you have a very valuable, good product and a good value proposition, you'll be winning more than you'll be losing. And you still have to have, between 6 and 8 no's to get a yes. That means most of your results are negative. And that makes you successful. And that's exactly what the other MJ, Michael Jordan, said. He said, I failed more at winning shots than any other basketball player in the world. I've missed more winning shots than anyone else, but I've won more games because he keeps shooting. And if you don't shoot, if you don't ask, if you don't present, if you don't find a way, if you're not persistent, if you don't go out there and give it all your best before you leave in the morning, the first sale of the day is made in the mirror to you. All right. How are we doing so far?
You're doing fine, sir.
Okay. All right. Here's a big way. We got in the United States right now, where our economy was on fire. They say that's a good thing in that context, on fire. And we had an unemployment rate of 3-4%. So recruiting companies were having a hard time finding candidates. Everybody had a job. Now we have reportedly 40 million Americans looking for work. That's unprecedented. How can we now possibly sell to an unemployed person? That's a new thing. We don't know how that works. But here's what we do know. Change will happen. Sales organizations will assimilate some of those people and train them to sell their products. For every time that something happens like this, it creates an opportunity for entrepreneurs, and it creates an opportunity potentially for salespeople. But for the others, and I understand them, please, I am not immune to being afraid. So don't think, I have some fearless attitude. I can be confused and afraid just like the next person. This is probably a picture of me, probably a week or two after this thing started to happen. Like, what's going on out there, right? Yeah. And that's when I started eating a lot more ice cream because of that white monster.
White monster in the kitchen.
Yeah. So fear can disconnect you. It can unplug you from yourself, can unplug you from the powers of the universe, from your creator, from your own internal clock, from your wisdom, from your own GPS, from your own North Star. And so when we have to step back and we have to drill down and we have to say, what is it we're really afraid of here? Okay. In the beginning, it was fear of catching COVID and fear of dying, right? But then, as we started going on, then we had to know, well, life's got to go on. We have to live with it. So now, folks, we're in the third quarter. We've had it. Some of us still going to get it. It's been worse. It's getting a little bit better. We have to live with it. Work 2.0, life 2.0. So now maybe we can face it. And by facing our fears, that's when we have an opportunity to become empowered again. And if we can empower ourselves, then we have the chance to empower other people. Without that, no possibility, because they'll hear the doubt in your voice. They'll hear the doubt in your question. It will never work. So don't waste your time going out selling anything to anybody if you're not 100% ready to get back into the game. I want to talk about this slide because this is a physical devastation. You've had this in the Philippines. This has happened in different countries around the world. This physical devastation is a lasting proof. Where we had COVID is more of like an invisible ghost, right? You don't know where it is. You don't know who has it. You could walk by somebody in a shop. They gave it to you. Crazy, right? This, you can see that a big tidal wave hit this and people got hurt. People lost a lot of things. But there again, here you have a disaster. Disasters will come, disasters will go. But the people who survive these are stronger. They have to get through it. They have to motor through it. And how do you get somebody motivated to buy a product after they've been through a disaster? Of course, it's not easy. And I don't think there's a formula for that slide. You know, those people need blanket and a hug and a meal and lots of therapy. My gosh, I can't imagine. And yet what happened here in the United States, this is just, I mean, I have no idea where this came from. It's like the most bizarre thing in the world. You go into a shop, and I'm not talking small shops. I'm talking Walmarts. They're huge. And you'd see people fighting over the last rolls of paper tissues. And unbelievable. And this is fear. Again, fear that we don't know if we'll have any more tomorrow. It might all be gone. And fear of loss is, in a sense, one of the greatest closing tools for salespeople all around the world, because it promotes scarcity. And yet here we all bought into that scarcity. And the scarcity was pretty comical to me, because they weren't going for cans of beans, Howell. You know, I mean, you think about it, be practical. You know, I could see like a run on tuna, you know, cans of tuna. That would make sense. Let's go get some food. No. We need toilet paper. Oh, my gosh. So this was all fear. Fear drove this. I don't know if you can see my screen. You can see the COVID-19.
Teeny tiny COVID-19 virus.
You see it? Do you see it really big? You see it really big?
Yes, we.
Or is it small?
It's the small.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to do
like
this. I wanted to just remind myself and anybody out there that has to go to work tomorrow that you have to respect it for what it is, but at the same time, it's important for you to, while you respect it, and while you have empathy for your market, and while you have, you know, cautious reasons to protect your health and the health of your loved ones, you still have to find a way to minimize this so that you can move forward. You have to find a way to walk around it. It's there. It's a shark in the room. It's a bear that can bite you, but walk around it. It's there, but minimize it. By minimizing this, it's not such a big thing anymore. You know it's there. It can bite you. Walk around it. Minimize it. Food for thought. Because we have to face our fears every day. And what we're doing is facing our fear in selling. And when we're asking people to buy something, well, most people are not. Most people are afraid to ask because of the situation. And yet, when we find out that, when's the last time you flew on an airplane?
Last year.
Okay. Was it a perfect flight? Where'd you go? From where to where?
Well, I went to my brother's house in Virginia, Yorktown, Virginia, with my family. We went there.
Wow. So that was a long flight.
Long flight.
So you flew over the Pacific? Did you come that way, or did you come over the Atlantic?
Japan, and then
okay.
Dallas,
so you came over the
Fort
Pacific
Worth.
Ocean, and then you flew all the way across the continental United States. I think, Howell, I wasn't there. I wasn't spying on you. But I think during your flight, you had some turbulence, yes?
We had a lot of turbulence.
Howell, was that just a little bit scary?
I was more scared for my parents than for myself.
Okay. So you're a very brave man. I'm not. Because anytime I'm on a flight and there's turbulence, my mind immediately knows everything. I have the ability, like so many other human beings, to think of the very worst that can happen. I will grab a hold of a chair on that airplane, and it's made of hard plastic and metal. I will squeeze it like it's a sponge. You know, I was on a flight once. The turbulence was so bad, I was thinking, wait a minute, if I offered to write the pilot a check just in case he would land at the next airport. I actually considered that. So people can imagine the very, very worst. And if you think about it, that it's a very scary thing. Of course, I'm not minimizing turbulence can lead to a crash. COVID can lead to a death, but at the end of the day, if that's what we're focused on, that's what we're going to get. Someone told me a long time ago that if you're going to embrace that reality, you're going to attract that reality. And if you look at things like The Secret and the laws of attraction, the universal law of attraction, of course, if that's how you live. So therefore, meditation's a great way to start your day. Putting yourself into a golden bubble is a great way to start your day. Attracting the sales to you that you deserve to serve them and your family. Those are great ways to get started. Not by going out of your house afraid. So that's my message here. One of the things that all of us have in common, I think, is that we don't really like to buy anything from anyone or buy any product that we don't trust. Would you agree?
100%, sir.
100%, right? So how would you possibly then think that if someone is fearful, you cannot just get them to buy something unless you're able to earn their trust? And the difference between the two is huge. It's like do or die. It's like night and day. Yes or no. There's no, oh, I'm fearful. So yeah, sure, I'd love to buy from you. I lost everything else. What else could I have? No, it doesn't happen. People who are fearful are in their fight or flight mode. And when they're in that mode, they're certainly not going to be thinking about growth. They're not thinking about improvement. You're not thinking about luxury items. I said this not too long ago. I had a talk and I did, and it was about a guy in the forest being chased by a lion. Now, of course, nobody wants that to happen, right? But so just pretend this is scene I'm going to paint for you is only a cartoon, okay?
Okay.
So the guy sees the lion. Do you think the first thing he does is check his Rolex? Does he pick up his bag of Louis Vuitton and start to polish it? You know, is he trying to hold on to his luxury items, or is he running for his life? Right.
Definitely running for
One of the things that have happened in COVID, I think for a lot of folks, is that our values have been questioned. Our values have been questioned, and our values about who we are and what we really do. Someone today asked me this question. I said, it's kind of like we all stepped off the merry-go-round. We did. We went home. Birds came. Fish returned to Venice. Wildlife was going wild. They didn't know what to do. It's like the planet Earth, the gyroscope, the magnetic centrifugal force somehow changed when we came inside. And we started to value people who were totally invisible before, like the woman who bagged your groceries.
Sure.
Because she's wearing a mask, she's putting herself, her family at danger by working in one of these shops to sell you supplies for your family. Wow. Our values really changed. We started appreciating a nurse and a doctor more than a celebrity NBA star.
It's so true, sir.
And then when we look at it, we kind of go, I don't know, has life really changed? I hope that we hold on to some of these moments, because I know for sure it makes us better people. I know for sure, in spite of eruptions that you might see now in different places, including the United States, it's very sad. I don't condone it. I like to speak out against it, that everyone deserves the right to live, to have justice, to have personal freedom, to speak. However, there's a right way and a wrong way to go about it. And violence is certainly the wrong way. But going back to trust and fear, tomorrow there's going to be people in this country who are going to live in fear, and there's going to be people out there building trust. And those people building trust are salespeople. And they'll go out and they'll do it methodically. They'll do it with a process. They'll do it knowing that they have a target and a goal because they are there to serve. They are not salespeople at all. They are in the service industry in their mind, and they are simply helping other folks move all the cobwebs away of confusion to give them a clear understanding of how their family will benefit from their product or service. That is the mark of a real professional salesperson. That's what they'll do. Yes, sir.
I agree.
Well, gosh, how much time do we have left, Mr. Howell?
You can just call me Howell, Sir MJ. And we still have, for the lecture, 17 minutes.
We have 17 minutes?
For the lecture. Or shorter if you want.
I know. I just didn't want to know if I was going to like play the harmonica, play you a song, or tell you a story. I think I'm going to tell you a story.
Tell us a story.
Yes, sir. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story. Now, I don't know if in the Philippines, do you know what a garage sale means?
We sometimes do that, but that's not particularly in our culture.
Okay, so it's but you do have okay.
We do have that, but mostly wearables.
Right. But what?
How do you know that? Wearable, ready to wear, just ready to wear.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, I definitely have okay. You have Showtime and you have Vice Ganda, so you have okay.
You know a lot about the Philippines, sir, and we thank you for that.
I love the Philippines. Great people, the best people, and the best food. Love it. So, in the United States and some parts of Europe, they've taken on this tradition that people sometimes will hoard things. Hoarding means you don't throw anything away. You know, you got boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff, and it's time to get rid of it. So, normally during the springtime, they call it spring cleaning. They'll think, well, you know what? I've got all these cups. I don't need these anymore. I've got these old Howell. You know what they've got? They've got a box of cassette player tapes. Right?
Way back when, yes.
Or better, they've got a box full of phone chargers from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So they have something called a garage sale, which means they want to get rid of their things and put them out. And, you know, the garage is symbolic because a lot of times people will do it in their driveway and actually have things in the garage for sale, and people will stop their cars, they'll get out, will walk on the lawn and go to the garage sale. So now you've got the setting. We have a garage sale, but this particular garage sale is from the guy downstairs, the guy we don't like. And he's pretty well, he's got a very diabolical agenda. So this son and father, they walk onto the lawn and they see Mr. Devil, and they walk into the garage, and on the shelf, they see all these jars with different price tags on them. And the son says, well, what's that? And the dad says, oh, well, you can't see it, but this one says envy. And it has a price per drop of envy. And then there's jealousy next to it. And it goes on and on to the deadly sins. And each one is, and this is dishonesty. So each one of these jars has liquid in it and a price. And then he gets to the last jar. It doesn't have a label nor a price. And he asks Mr. Devils, what's this? He goes, oh, no. Not for sale. What is it? Sorry. It's secret formula. You know, like KFC, they have their own recipe.
11.
Yeah. So this is our family recipe, and we don't sell this stuff. He's like, I'm so curious. Tell me what it is, please. He says, well, it's priceless. I don't sell it because all I need is one drop of this. and I put it in someone's head, and I control them forever, and they'll never reach their potential, and they'll always live in fear. What do you call this, Mr. Devil? Oh, many things, but the most common word for it is self-doubt. So there you go.
Powerful.
It is this that holds most people back. It's this that keeps them from asking for more for themselves. Because sales work is not just about talking to customers. It's convincing yourself. It's convincing yourself. In the book that you saw earlier, Success in 47 Minutes,
yes,
that was created by a person who every single day had to perform, had to sell, and didn't want to, couldn't figure it out, was feeling sorry for themselves, was hoping that a rich relative would die and leave him money. You'd never have to ask anybody to buy anything again. And that's where this formula came from. You'll see it. You'll hear about it. But in the sense of this, the self-doubt, absolutely. The salesperson's worst nightmare. There's nothing more infectious. There's nothing more viral in sales than self-doubt. Because if you have it, you're never going to get anybody else to believe anything you have to say if you don't believe it yourself. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make a lot of sense.
All right. So, bottom line, fear is a liar. There's lots of acronyms for these words. I'm not going to go into those cliches, but I am going to say that when I was white knuckle in the plane all those times, my mind would always allow me to think about the worst possible thing that can happen. How? The worst.
The worst.
It didn't happen. We landed. It didn't happen. We landed. So if we have the power to immediately think, picture, and visualize the worst that could possibly happen, what if we were to use that power of being our own Steven Spielberg, creating a movie about our future that wasn't disastrous, that wasn't fearful, that wasn't failure, that did not succumb because COVID-19 has destroyed our economies, destroyed our sales ability, that life will not go on, and now we're in helplessness, and now we just need to eat more ice cream from the fridge.
The monster, the white monster.
The monster, I'm telling you. We have to get beyond the fear because it is a lie. And we have the ability to create this new reality, and the new reality is, if I can think about the very worst and I can think about the very best, what would that look like? What would a day look like tomorrow for me, for you, if everything would go right? What would you ask for? If anything was possible, what would you dare to do? How would you see that? How would you strategize that? How could you leverage that into an opportunity for you to succeed? You see, it's not that you need to be lucky every day. Even in the Bon Jovi song says you got to make your own luck. So you're doing that through your preparation. You're doing that through your persistence. You're doing that through your process. You're doing that through your passion. You're doing that because you're driven, because you have a big reason to do it, because you have your why am I doing this? Why is my product good? Why do people need it? Why am I important in this person's life to be able to bring him this product or message or service? And if your day can't be directed at a Steven Spielberg movie to the point where you really think, wow, now this is going to be a great day, go back to bed. 10 minutes later, try again, because you don't have to live in fear. You can be empowered. And you don't have to feel empowered immediately. You can just pretend to be. You can edit your fear and say, yeah, okay, I'm fear, but if I wasn't, then what could I do? Give yourself a chance. because not every turbulence is going to make you crash. Not every news story is going to be the end of your life or your world. Not every rumor or murmur, not every no you hear from the market is going to be a finality. You have a chance, you have an opportunity to be yourself and to grow yourself. And you know, I said before about the SWOT, to do strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Do a SWOT analysis on yourself. You may find that you've stepped off a merry-go-round for another reason altogether. And you might want to be selling a different product or doing a different thing. Whatever it is you do it with passion. Do it with purpose. Do it because it matters to you that other people will benefit from what it is you do. And don't buy into the fear. Because fear in itself is going to overtake you. And that's what's the problem with most sales organizations today. They're simply afraid to ask for the business because they haven't realigned their value proposition to the point where they're empathetic with their clients. They've adjusted their strategy. They've possibly looked into other ways to present or their sales channels around the world or around the market, however they distribute that. It's time to be flexible. It's time to adopt change and make it part of our life and not be so fearful about it. Selling, at the end of the day, is all about looking at what our product can do for our clients, whether it's life insurance. I think there was quite a few people in real estate. Real estate life. These are products that maybe are more difficult to sell than, say, somebody who works in a mall is trying to sell makeup. I don't know, but I'm going to say this: whatever product you're selling, whether it is makeup, and I respect whitening cream, so shout out for all those people doing that, or if it's real estate, or if it's insurance, or any variation thereof, your product has certain features, like a bicycle. So a bicycle has, let's describe a bicycle, right? Shall we try, Howell?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, two wheels. Then it has handlebars. Then it has those pedals. Yes. And it has maybe, I'll just throw in like an amenity. It has a bell. Ding, ding. Okay, you got me?
That's a cute bicycle.
You like it? Okay, let's color it red. Wait a minute. Let's color it red. And we're going to put Super on the side. Super Howell. That's the name of the bike. Yes, sir. You got a branded bike.
It's a beautiful bike.
So those are the features. So now the salesperson comes up to the client and says, well, you know, this is a really nice bicycle. Just look at those tires. And by the way, it comes with a bell. And wow, handlebars, you know, just look at those. And of course, every professional salesperson knows that this is kindergarten stuff, because it is not what the features of the product are not what sell the product. It is what it does for the client. It allows the client to use that product and have freedom to go into nature, go on trails, lose weight, have fresh air. Yes. All of those are benefits, the experiential benefits. And most salespeople are missing that also. So it's important to really find out what it is you do, why you do it, and is there a bigger why you can give your market so that there's no reason why they would ever say no once they heard it from you, the master. We live in a world today where we're going to greet our clients. There are organizations today who are wearing masks. I took mine off. I'm in my home. But I wore one today faithfully in the places that I went to. And I saw that other people who were doing who were running organizations or servicing, whether it was a car dealer that I visited, whether it was a shop that I visited, you saw people who were working in those shops, again, wearing the masks and still doing their job. And you see TV interviews where people are wearing the mask and keeping social distancing and doing their job. So can you do selling face-to-face if you social distance? I believe you can. Organize with process, of course.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be the end of face-to-face. It's just face-to-face is done a different way. And certainly there are other channels. We know the channels. Webinars are one channel. Telesales call centers. The Philippines are king of call centers. So, wow, there's a technology that the Philippines has and a resource they have to be able, they're so busy selling products for Americans and for other parts of the world, they can deploy some of those same techniques and technologies for their own market domestically. How about that? I think that the reason that I came up with this mission I'm possible years ago was because I was trying to teach a class and I was telling them that I wanted to get a particular discount on, I think we were buying 50 pizzas out that day. Oh. And for the class, it was a big class in Russia. And I said to the translator, whose name was Serge, I said, Serge, you call the pizza guy and you tell him I want 50 pizzas, but I want 20% discount. And Serge turned to me, very respectfully but sternly, and says, in my country, it's not possible. So I was Serge, I'm not really asking your opinion. I'm paying. I need 50. Just ask him for a 20% discount because you're my translator. I cannot because he will tell me no. Okay, Serge, I understand that you think he's going to tell you no. But if you ask him and you tell him that your boss from the USA will buy them on condition that he has a 20% discount, see what he says. And Serge was so stubborn. He was so blocked. He couldn't. He turned to me and goes, another question I have for you. Why American have more than 2 ketchup? We only need 2. Why you have so many bread? So everything for him was like he just had a fixed way to think about it. And I went up to the whiteboard. Was it a whiteboard? Or maybe back in those days, it was just a sheet of paper. And I wrote the word impossible to the class with my other translator, who was a little bit more liberal. And then I put this accent in between the I and the M. Wow. And then I said, if things are going to be possible, it's because I make it possible, because I am possible. I'm possible. So that's where this came from. That's where so many of my workshops, which I've had the privilege and pleasure of doing around the world, which deal with mindset and possibilities. And that's why I'm looking forward to my series coming up on MJ on the Air, because we're going to be talking to folks who overcome impossible things. And I'm really looking forward to meeting them and sharing their stories. At the end of this crisis, you have 2 choices. You can show people the burdens that you have and, oh, woe is me, poor me. I'm not saying that anybody who had a problem didn't have a problem, but I'm saying that we have a choice of which side of the room you want to be sitting on. Do you want to be sitting on the side of the room that gave it their best, that really tried, who went out passionately, who gave it their all? Because I promise you, if you do that, you're probably not going to be sitting in the room. You'll be so busy. But if you're one who's going to bear the crisis as a badge of Purple Heart, probably you need to read this book quickly. So I think, you can decide how you're going to be defined at the end of this. This is kind of a dated shot. 2016, I was asked to chair a training and development seminar in Dubai. And the topic, Howell, was Work 2.0. This is 2016. Work 2.0 in 2016 was a trending phenomenon that very soon into the future, more people would be working from home. Oh. Work 2.0 meant that less people would rent offices and more people would have stay-at-home jobs and be able to use things like technology to help them do their job. This was in 2016. There was no crisis. And there was a huge workshop seminar conference about this in Dubai. So when I saw things happening recently and I saw, well, people now are looking at homes, I went to go buy a microphone, by the way. Do you see my microphone? Can you see it? Yeah, okay. I went to go buy the microphone at one of the largest retailers for electronics in the United States. They were out. In fact, in that shop, I probably could have found toilet paper, but no microphone. Because everyone figured out that they better start getting their equipment ready to work at home. So Work 2.0 was a concept in 2016 that people just talked about. We flirted with the idea, and then you'd hear a CEO goes, how would I know if my employees went to work, and how can I be sure, the jobs are being done? And, today, some companies are dealing with their remote teams, and they don't have parking problems. They're never late for work because of the traffic. Lots of benefits there. The world is changing. Yes. You either accept it, embrace it, or because if you resist it, it can break your back. Finally, when we talk about sales, because there's lots of different, it's a wonderful, rich topic. Some people talk about the sales objections, the rebuttals, when people tell me no, when people tell me yes. And I put this slide here for a reason. I like to think of it that because we developed a program earlier, a few years ago, I think JM remembers, called Kung Fu Sales and Kung Fu Leadership. And both of those dealt with the same type of philosophy, that if you use the power which is coming at you, use the power that you know for sure is working against you, and you're able to welcome that power and use that same power against itself, then you have mastered martial arts, and then you have mastered sales. So, what do I mean by that? Imagine you know for sure tomorrow when you're selling something in the Philippines that there's COVID-19. You know for sure that people are afraid to get out. You know for sure that people can't leave their houses in some provinces because there's still lockdown. Am I right?
You are correct.
And there's still curfew. So how? Well, if you list all that down, these become predictable objections, predictable points of resistance. So when you're redefining your strategy, when you're reworking your value proposition, meet all of those rebuttals, objections, and points of resistance in the delivery of your presentation, because when you do that, open the door, close the door, open the door, close the door, there's nowhere else to go. I think you'll be more successful when you try it. My personal opinion. This is a part of the cover of one of my books, Executive Powers on Leadership, but I just use this part here because I'd like to remind everybody that every single one of us who've seen any of these superhero movies, we know that they're movies, but we've also witnessed in our midst, in our communities, superheroes amongst us.
Yes.
In the first responders and those gentle souls who go out without anything more than it's my job as an answer, and they go out and do it. We all have abilities within us that we don't know, and our Creator, he's so smart, he decided to hide them in some of us, so it takes us a while to find them. It's treasure hunting the gold within you. We all have the abilities, more abilities than we know. We all can do much more than we thought we could. We all have the right to wear a cape. We've all had exceptional days. We've all behaved as extraordinary individuals. We've all said things or not said things heroically. We've all been masters of the moment, and we all have the right to wear the cape. Super salespeople who are dedicated to plan, to be persistent, to have purpose, to have passion, to continually give back to them, give to themselves, to continue to learn. All of those people have the trajectory to become a real superhero daily. So I had a question before you go on to your questions here, because I think we're probably right there. Am I right?
It is there, sir.
Okay. I had a question because one of the people had sent me a question before. If you don't mind, I just wanted to just talk to this one. May I?
Sure, sir.
Okay.
You may, sir.
So this person named Helen Smith said, shout out to Helen, would love to hear your views on how this pandemic affects people's way of taking holidays. This is a big question, not only here, not only in Spain, not only in Europe, it's a question all around the world. My take on it is, if you're selling holidays, listen to everything I just said about the empathy, about the strategy, about everything I said, and then take action that way. But be prepared to make an adjustment. Because today, talking to somebody about buying a holiday, where? Are you asking somebody to get on a plane and fly 12 hours next month? And if there's a second wave of COVID, they might get locked down in that country, and then what would happen? Not so easy. I think there's going to be a lot of domestic travel, personally. I think certainly people who live in Manila will look forward to going to Baguio. It's cooler in the mountains.
Yes, and in Boracay.
And Boracay, they'll have, and so many beautiful, my gosh, over 7,000 islands. How could you ever get bored with such a beautiful country? But apart from that, there's other countries that will enjoy domestic travel. I think day trips, of 2, 3, 4, 5, 10-hour drives will be possible. There'll be more people spending time in cars for the next 6 months. Planes are going to be kind of tough. They haven't figured it out yet. The scale of economy is not worked out yet. If they have less seats, they have to charge more. Yeah. So what's the fun in paying more for less? I don't know. But yet, unfortunately, business travel has to move. So they have to do something. But for us, I think probably we're going to stay closer to home. That's not a bad thing. I think there's a great places in every country to explore and get out there and see what it's all about. If you're in Spain and you have resorts along the Costa del Sol, maybe it's a time to revisit offices in Madrid, exhibitions, teaser packages to attract more people to the Costa del Sol, than relying on the British or whoever would flock down there by the millions every year. That's just my immediate take. Mr. Howell, over to you, sir, if you have any more questions.
Thank you, Coach MJ Tolan. Everybody put your hands together for Coach MJ. Live and is on the air. You know
Thank
what?
you.
I can tell for every second that has transpired, since an hour and 10 minutes ago, I can tell that you're a full-blooded salesperson, a sales professional. Why? Because you are very organic. You love telling stories. You talk with your hands. You're passionate. You're motivated. And that's how you connect. And with empathy, all the more that you have been more effective, despite the fact that, yes, this is the first time that we're using this technology. And from one salesperson to another, I validate all that you have shared, Sir MJ Tolan. Thank you so much, sir. If I may just say, the first job I had was in sales. It was in Toyota, 1994. And so I was pirated in 1996. When I was 22, I got my first car. At 22, my classmates are still looking for a job. And then I, on the other hand, have my own car already at 22. And that's the beauty of being in sales.
Right? Absolutely.
And this is actually the most rewarding career. And for the people who are here right now, I'm sure that you have been empowered, impassioned, recharged, encouraged by Sir MJ Tolan. So again, everybody put your hands together. Sir MJ, we'll just pause for a break, just a 2-minute break, so that we will give our sales professionals who are watching us now via YouTube, live stream, and everybody in the Zoom room can ask you a question. So everybody can type in their question at the Q&A box. So in the meantime, you can take a break, sir. 2 minutes. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We promise.
Okay. I'll be here.
Thank you, sir.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
And welcome back to our Selling Under Fire, Secrets of Proactive Selling in a Crisis workshop webinar with Coach MJ Tolan. MJ on the air. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us, for going your sleep just to be with us. I mean, from Florida, it's almost 4. It's already 4 a.m. It will be done in a few minutes in Florida. And we thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you for your passion and generosity.
You're more than welcome.
So right now, sir, would like to just remind our participants that this is part of our, the value proposition here is that we give to our viewers and our participants something that is for free. We started last April and then into May, and then now in June. This will go on till July. And that when they receive something for free, we encourage them to pay it forward. While they gain access to all our live webinars, series for a cause, for 3 months now, going to 3 months now, you may donate an amount to all our participants so that you can help families in distress. This is in partnership and the brainchild of Sir J.M. Matienzo, our CEO, and Ms. Iris Malonda, our president, and the whole team of Ariva Academy. Ariva Achievers Foundation partnered with Bayanihan Act 2020 to help our kababayans, the poorest of the poor. And they are mostly in Mahayhay, Laguna. So together, let's show our support to our fellow Filipinos in distress. Where they're in survival mode. This is the most difficult time so far, as long as we can remember. There's a global health crisis, but we can act now. Let's click and donate. Ariva.com.ph/donation. Let other people feel how much you love them. We thank you for that. And Sir MJ, before we go to the Q&A, I'll just greet our participants from all parts of the Philippines. Represented provinces are Albay, Baguio, Bataan, Batangas, Bulacan, Cabanatuan, Cavite, Cebu, Davao, General Santos, Iloilo, Isabela, La Union, Laguna, Negros Oriental, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Quezon Province, Rizal Province, Sorsogon, Surigao, Tacloban, Tarlac, and NCR. So thank you for joining us. So, Sir MJ, which part of the Philippines have you already visited, and how long did you stay?
Some of those, I definitely in Manila.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived a bit in Makati for a while.
Wow.
I visited. Also, I had a project for some months in Boracay, so I got a chance to be there. Up in Naga City, in Bicol.
Wow.
So I could taste the spicy nuts and Bicol Express.
Yeah. Wow.
Great friends.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Experiences.
Thank you, sir. So, for our participants, you can type
thank
in
you,
your...
Kabayan. Thank you,
Kabayan. Salamat, Kabayan. Maraming salamat, Kabayan MJ Tolan. For our participants, type in your question at the Q&A box. And you may also click the raise hand button to notify us so you can personally, at least virtually, answer or ask question directly to Sir MJ Tolan. Let me just check from Genesis. Let me just check her. Genesis Allegata. He says, Genesis here, founder of Sales Hacker PH. Thank you, Coach MJ, for the great stories and insights. I wish everyone to be still during this pandemic and keep selling. Well, guys, all right. Sir.
I'm sorry, is that a question? Oh, when will?
Dan Buenaventura. It's a question by Dan Buenaventura. Can you read it, sir?
Now I can. So what can you suggest we as salespersons can do to be more productive during this pandemic? I think this seminar that we just did, this workshop we just did, I gave you as much as I could give you in an hour. So I think it starts with mindset, starts with looking into your own organization, your products and services, the way that you offer them, the way you distribute them, and to see what other methods that you haven't used before that you could deploy now that will make you more effective. You're going to have to fail fast. That means try something. If it doesn't work, move on, get better at it. But the mindset of yourself, your leadership, your organization has to be that you have a focus, that you have a mission, you have a purpose, you have a passion, and continue to do it. And I have a lot of respect for LBC because they move kabayans around the world.
Yes, balikbayan boxes. Fredemina Fermin. When most of the companies are laying off, how can recruitment firms and vendors compassionately sell?
Well, I mean, there you go. So now we're talking about value proposition. So you have the companies could say, well, there's lots of people who are unemployed, so we can just go find our own. And the answer is yes, you can. They have a lot of people who are willing to work for less. But then again, I have a lot of companies like you who are willing to pay me more. And the reason that they're willing to pay me more is because of the thoroughness that we go through to vet our candidates, to understand your needs, to be able to make that perfect match, and all the guarantees and the solutions that we provide in that package. And it's for those reasons alone that I think you really should not even consider any other method except becoming our long-term partner now.
I agree. Thank you, sir. Sherwin Olan, how can we use the pandemic situation in the general aspect of sales?
Yeah, so I want to be very careful here because we don't want to ever in sales exploit the pandemic.
Yeah.
But guess what? We can't deny it either. We cannot deny it. So I would just simply say that it would be possible for a product or a service to introduce themselves to the market or a new customer, whether they're new customers, returning customers, if they're upselling, whatever the thing is. I was talking about new sales. Why should you become our customer now? Because there's a pandemic. And it's because of the pandemic that more and more people, just like yourself, are discovering the value of our program and our product because it does this and this and this. And this is why now a lot of other people have saved money or time, whatever it is, your value proposition. And this would be a good opportunity for us to show you what they have received. I think that's probably about as most you want to go, but you have to push it out there because the elephant is in the room. The big elephant is there.
Yeah.
It's the pandemic, it's the COVID. And if you don't bring it up, they'll have it in their mind and they'll shut you down because they got fear. So pull all the fears out, you know, get them out so that you can then do your work. You got to do it.
Wow. Genesis Alegata, what are the practical steps you can advise to a salesperson who's currently down and discouraged for not hitting the numbers during this pandemic crisis? This salesperson used to be a performer before the crisis.
Yeah. So first of all, Genesis, great question and awesome name. I've never met a Genesis before. I love that.
There's a lot of Genesis in the Philippines.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, then in the beginning. So then in the beginning, you'll probably appreciate this. He was a good salesperson and now facing fear, hitting resistance. He didn't change the strategy and might need some coaching from you if you're his leader on doing everything I said to do that SWOT analysis on himself and the product, the way it's been distributed, the way it's being handled. He has to do that because he will be down. I've been down. Howell has been down. When we don't hear our results, we should be down, but down for a couple seconds, not a day, and certainly not a week. You can take the hits, but here's the thing about this, guys and gals. You have to become a basketball. You have to become a basketball because you're going to take hit after hit, no after no after no. But if you think about it from here vertically, a basketball, it hits the ground. If it doesn't have the air inside, it will just go flat.
Yeah.
But if it's got the air inside, the air is your passion, your enthusiasm, your spontaneity, your everything. Then that air filled in that bag will make that basketball bounce. And that's what you need to do. Bounce into the bank.
I love how you illustrated it that way. And at 4 a.m., you're so full of that, that passion and motivation.
MJ on the air just gets better and better over here.
And then anonymous attendee asks this question. The Philippines is a price-conscious market. For so, with the pandemic, they want more and like to pay less. How do you sell a service and your prices are higher than your competitors?
I love the question. Thank you so much for that. One of the biggest mistakes that organizations make in times of a crisis is that, well, sales have dropped, so we're going to discount our product. And I personally don't believe that's the answer. I don't necessarily want you to understand it's not that you shouldn't do promotions, but not cheapen your product.
Yeah.
And then if you have other people who've done that, have a similar service, but a cheaper product, then you must have you must have your own USP. If you don't have a unique selling proposition, your own USP, the reason why your prices are better or more expensive to the client, and you have to regurgitate that message back to your clients by saying, you know, in the nicest way, you're right. Our prices are not the same as so and so and so.
Yeah.
And if I were you, I'd feel exactly the same way until I found out that the money that our clients are paying gives them this, and that. And it's for those reasons, when they understood it, that they not only purchased our product, but brought their other friends into it, knowing full well they could buy it cheaper down the street, but now knowing with confidence what it is that we can actually do for them through the care that we deliver.
Wow. So that's a pitfall. Discounting the price and then going into the cutthroat competition.
Don't get me wrong. Promotions are cool. They're timely and they're cool, and I do them time to time myself. But dropping your price because of a situation, how do you ever raise it again?
Yeah, that's right.
You just told your market that your price wasn't as valuable as you thought. No.
Thank you, sir. Anonymous attendee asks you, I am in HR and I think our salespeople needs help on this matter. How do you motivate salespeople? So HR personnel motivating the salespeople.
Well, I mean, first of all, thank you for your courageous question, HR person. You might not always think that you're appreciated by organizations, but I, for sure, as a leader, definitely appreciate everything that HR people do for us and have done in the past. And I guess you're kind of looking at performance because you might have some KPIs in your pay package, et cetera. Your leadership has the responsibility to align your sales team, but your sales team are individuals. Like you have. I grew up in a family with 8 boys, so you could say just metaphorically that was our sales team. It wasn't. Not everybody was motivated. Not everyone was motivated that particular day. You had some people crying. You had other ones screaming. So you're not going to have them all motivated. But you do know that there are some in there that perform. This crazy number about the 80-20 rule. 80% of your sales that come from 20% of your salespeople. It's so crazy, but it's like happens in so many different industries. You never know who's going to perform. What you can do as an HR person, I'll tell you exactly what you can do. You can create a nurturing environment where you put out in your company's culture that you look to your salespeople as partners. You look to them as the hand looks at fingers. And you respect those people who are doing that job for the company because they are generating income for the company that eventually will pay your salary and cover the expenses of the company. And just because they're salespeople and other people have shiny business cards, you have the chance as an HR leader to make a difference. And if you show them that appreciation and you show them that respect, nobody is going to be able to drag them to another company, not even for 20% more money. It ain't going to happen.
So that's the power of culture and what HR can do. Thank you, Sir MJ. We have a live question from Paul Gerard Flores. Sir Paul Gerard? Hello? Are you in the room? Hello? Paul Gerald. In the meantime, as we try to connect Paul Gerald Flores and put him on the video, how do you fix your mindset from one anonymous attendee?
Take a shower.
The mindset of take a shower.
No matter how bad you feel, if you take a shower, you're going to feel better anyway. So then get out and decide how you're going to do it. Look, there's no quick fix for any answer. I think it's important that you clean yourself. Just when I use the example of having a shower, but you have to clean yourself every day. You're going to come home. If you're in the sales job, you're going to come home and you can come home beaten because you didn't get the results you wanted. Yeah. And you tried and you tried. And, if you're on commission and you didn't get anything, then you're not putting anything in their fridge that day.
Yeah.
You're not feeding the monster over in the corner. So I know it's difficult. I know the feeling. I know the emptiness. But here's what I do believe. I believe that there will be a tomorrow. And I do believe it's a process. And I do believe that if you have the discipline, and this is a decision, this is not something that you're going to try. This is a decision that you know that you have a process. And if your process is not ironclad or airtight, get the coaching that you need. There are other resources. If there's nobody in your company to help you with that, improving that, go on YouTube. There's free resources out there. There are books you can buy. I mean, I was a student of Zig Ziglar while he was alive. Brian Tracy was one of my top mentors. I've had great teachers, and I learned from them like a sponge. And of course, today I benefit from that, and I'm able to, give some of that information back to other folks. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for your attitude. You're responsible for your aptitude. You can decide to learn more or just be the same fish that you were yesterday. And one of the greatest things I ever heard Tony Robbins say was, people are either growing or they're dying, and there's no in between. You're either growing or you're dying, and there's no in between. I just really personally, that really resonated a chord with me. So I think you have the right and the option to continually improve yourself. Watch videos, read books, do things that will help you develop good disciplinary habits to get you closer to your goal, that you know exactly where your goal is.
Thank you, Sir MJ. Thank you for that. And I also admire Tony Robbins. The first book of him that I read when I was in college was Awaken the Giant Within. And this is to challenge our self-limiting beliefs. And it has helped me as a career person as well in sales. Sir, I know it's already 4:33 a.m. in Florida, but can you accommodate another question?
Sure, fire away. I'm all good. Well, I mean, now what am I going to do, right? I'm just going to wake up the neighbors.
So from our YouTube viewer, Dennis Carlos, thank you for sharing your thoughts, Coach MJ Tolan. You have made all your points with passion. So how would you handle your team members if they decided to limit himself during this pandemic?
Can I know a little bit more about what that might mean?
How would you handle a person or a team member who has decided to limit himself during this pandemic? So limit his potential, limit his ability to sell, limit his options of selling.
Well, that's a very subjective question. I appreciate the fact that you're concerned enough. You may even have a member on your team that might be either fearful or despondent, or have feeling like throwing in the towel with all this going on, and you wonder, maybe, am I right? You're thinking, how do I bring them around? How do I coach them back into the performance chair? Listening is always a good start. Listening to what their real concerns are, because there's no reason for you to preach to them about you should be doing this and you should be doing that if you don't really know how they feel. They may have reasons that you don't understand what they are, and their reasons may be coachable. You might say, yes, thank you for sharing that, and because of that, we may be able to do this, this, and this. So I think every individual situation is different. I go back to what I was trying to say to HR. I hope I did that effectively. Treat your people like your partners. You have a partner who's feeling a bit down. You have a partner who's feeling not like giving it all. There's a reason for that. And listen to them. Have empathy. See your salespeople, if you're a leader, as if they are your clients also. They're your number one client. There's nobody more important. As a CEO, I used to arrive in the office and think to myself, once I kind of got over the leadership hump, how do you know these people who have the big business cards and say, I'm so-and-so, and this is my title, and look at my car, and look at my house. Yeah, one of my greatest teachers, Deepak Chopra.
Oh, I love Deepak.
Yeah, well, I was out there with him, with he and 300 other scientists in a 3-day seminar. And the takeaway from those 3 days was, we are neither our positions, what's written on the business card, or our possessions, what we're driving or where we live. So if we're neither our positions or our possessions, who are we? So if you showed up on a desert island and you didn't have your credit cards and you didn't have your business cards, and somebody is over there got some food, are you going to tell them how important you are, or are you going to try to be nice to them? And, so we're people. We have to treat people like people. So if you treat your salespeople like partners, if you treat the people who are maybe feeling a bit down, don't scowl at them. Listen to them. That's my advice.
Wonderful. Before we call it a day, we'd like to ask you, Sir Michael, what's the takeaway for us? What do you want us to think about as we go to sleep tonight?
Well, first of all, what a wonderful day you're going to have tomorrow, refreshed and recharged with possibly something that I said or something I made you remember. That's what I hope. I hope that you know that, to borrow some words from Brian Tracy, if it's to be, it's up to me.
Wow.
If you can let that be your guiding star, so that when you go through next week, you're going to meet people who all say, yeah, but blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like being positive, po. The market has changed and bland, and there's traffic and, the weather, and there's typhoon season and, all this, right? At the end of the day, if it's gonna be, it's up to me. So I have to be responsible 100%. I'm the CEO of myself.
I love it. Thank you, Sir MJ Tolan. Big hand for Coach MJ, everyone.
Thank you.
And good morning to you, sir. Enjoy the rest of the day. And if you can have an afternoon nap, all the better. We thank you, Sir MJ, and we hope to see you again here in the Philippines.
Meet me at MJ on the air. Until then, I can't wait to get to the Philippines.
Thank you so much, sir. Again, big hands for Sir MJ.
Thank you.
And as Sir MJ fades out of the Zoom room, fades in our dear President, Miss Irish Malonda Samson. Hello, Miss Irish.
Hi, Sir Howell. That was really amazing session with Coach MJ. It was passionately done with fire, of course. Even though he haven't slept yet.
Yeah.
It's already 4:30 in the morning in Florida. With that, Coach MJ, we truly appreciate your dedication in sharing your craft. Thank you so much for sharing your learnings to our participants. Thank you, everyone. A big hand to Coach.
Big hand for Coach. I can say that he's 100% authentic sales professional who also does coaching and empowers all the sales professionals globally, and we are blessed. We are blessed. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
indeed,
Coach
sir.
MJ.
So, guys, please share with us your learnings, your key takeaways, so we can acknowledge them. But before that, of course, Sir Howell,
Yeah,
your takeaway.
I love how he used COVID-19 as an illustration of how we establish predictable resistance, objections, and rebuttal. And so when we make everything, every objection, every resistance, every rebuttal, something predictable, we can prepare for that. And nothing can make us be afraid of selling at all, not even during COVID-19 pandemic. So brilliant learning.
Very well said, Sir Howard.
What about you,
Well,
Miss Irish?
with mine, sir, it's simply as a salesperson myself, you should always believe in your services, your product, your offerings. Have a mindset of a consultant, that you would be the solution to their problem. And of course, what is the distinctive value proposition that you can offer to your clients, especially nowadays?
We don't sell features, we sell benefits.
Yes, sir.
That's why you were able to hit all your targets despite the pandemic.
Yes, I don't consider myself as selling. I consider myself, I think this one is a calling for me.
It is a
It's
calling.
my purpose in life, yes.
And when selling becomes
Give
a calling,
trainings, yes.
you'll hit your target.
Yes, and of course, thank you so much, Sir Howell, for wonderfully moderating our session today.
I felt like he's my older brother. I felt so spiritually connected from one salesperson to another. So I felt that, and it's a pleasure. Thank you for this privilege.
Thank you, Sir
Iris.
Howell. I'll be seeing you tomorrow again for another wonderful e-learning session. Okay?
What time tomorrow?
3 to 4:30 p.m.
3
course.
p.m.
Same time, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Miss Iris, and thanks
Thank
everyone.
you.
Don't you go away.
Have a great day, Sir Howell.
You
and
too.
of course, I have few announcements to make. This is not yet the end of our e-learning session. Ariva Academy would like to thank the following win-win partners: our official media partner, Art Plus Magazine; digital media partners, Focus Media, Globaltronics, City Advertising Ventures, Outcome, Elevate Media. For major sponsor, Pacific Cross Philippines. For win-win partners, thank you to Brother Faber-Castell, Gluta-C, Moringa O2, KFC, Mr. Donut, Tokyo, Lotus Biscoff, Boss Job, Sir Technology Inc., Finma Properties, Salary Jet, Ilawi Korea, Kitolson and Carpo Consulting, Enchanted Kingdom, Disperse, Cosmetech Philippines Inc., MindChump's virtual preschool program. To register, please call them at 0906-486-0710 or email them at discanabe@mindchumps.org. And if you want to place your ads here, advertise your company, your services, your logo, have a brand exposure to thousands of viewers through FB, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Zoom, please email us at marketing@ariva.com.ph. To stay on top of our insights and updates, know more on our upcoming learning programs, watch our live streaming of e-learning sessions, please stay connected and visit us on our social media sites. Join the Ariva Academy Facebook group, like the Ariva Facebook fan page, follow the Ariva Academy LinkedIn page, and visit our website. It's www.ariva.com.ph. And if you want to watch the replay of our session this afternoon and the previous e-learning sessions that we had, please do visit us on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and click the bell button. It's Ariva Academy YouTube channel and Ariva Talks. Again, Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks. For our upcoming online learning sessions, please register. Please visit our website, www.ariva.com.ph. We would like, again, to invite you on our live webinar series for a cause. This is the HR Virtual Summit PH 2020. We have invited international, global subject matter experts to share with us their wisdom in the HR field. This will be tomorrow. Don't forget to register. June 3 to 4:30 p.m. We will be having Coach Eric Riego de Dios. He will be discussing transformations through growth mindset, learning and thriving through challenges. Don't forget to register. Tuesday, June 9, this is a live webinar series for a cause, Coach with Apps. Of course, this will be discussed by none other than Coach May Soriano. How to connect with clarity and confidence, building community in times of uncertainty and isolation. This will be discussed by Coach Terry Phipps, and this will be on Wednesday, June 10. Don't forget, June 10, 3 to 4:30 p.m. An e-learning masterclass, of course, by none other than Mr. Jonathan Yabut. Please do join us how to manage the millennials in the workplace. There's only $799 per participant. This will be on June 16. Again, June 16, 4 to 6 p.m. Another e-learning masterclass from Mr. Jonathan Yabut, the Asia's millennial guru. Work smart, not just hard. How to boost your productivity at work. This will be on Wednesday, June 17, 4 to 6 p.m. E-learning masterclass, of course, prospecting, cold calling, telephone sales, and closing the deal. This will be discussed by Mr. Chris Randall from the United States. This will be on Thursday, June 18, 3 to 5 p.m. Second batch of online selling from home, how to use FB, IG, and LinkedIn for your business. Please do join us and register. This will be on June 24, 4 to 6 p.m. Of course, this will be discussed by Mr. Jonathan Yabut. Another e-learning masterclass, crisis management strategies in sales, is very timely, guys. Ultimate winning sales strategies during a crisis and beyond. This is only $899 per participant. This will be on Thursday, June 25, 3 to 5:30 p.m. And we will be having again Coach MJ Tolan to discuss this session. And if you want to customize an e-learning session, a webinar for your company, for your team, please do call me at 0916-695-4418 or email me at irish.arivaacademy@gmail.com. That's it, guys. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Don't forget to register again. This will be tomorrow. Transformations through growth, mindset, learning, and thriving through challenges. Hope that you learn a lot this afternoon. Hope that you can apply it to your workplaces. Again, this is Irish Malonda Samson in Ariva. It's all about being better. Be safe. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.